Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Hayley.
After meeting online, we became international best friends who bonded over how hard it is to find success in the entertainment industry.
Join us and our celebrity co-authors as they help us write the book on how to make it.
And, more importantly, uncover what making it even means.
Hi, my name is Sean Gunn, and I wanted to be an actor when I grew up.
Hey,
that worked
out. I haven't had one of those for a while.
Yeah. I'm one of those annoying people who I've never ever wanted to do anything else. I'm is my earliest my memories of wanting to be an actor predate any other memories that I have.
What was the first memory?
Honestly,
not your first memory. I'm sorry, but of being an actor. I'm sorry.
Wow.
No, I get it. When I was a kid, I went and saw plays. We used to have this lake house and in the middle of Missouri on the Lake of the Ozarks, made famous by the TV show Ozark later. Yeah. But we would go see this repertory theater company in the summer. We'd go see their plays when me and my siblings were young, and I think we started going when I was 2 or 3 years old, and I just remember it really is my earliest memory of sitting on my mom's lap and watching those plays and being really, I want to be on stage. I want to be up there performing. It just seemed like where I was meant to be.
Yeah, that's super helpful because I think acting is one of those careers where you can't want to do anything else because you can't kind of get sidelined by other things. You've got to be kind of very blinkered with it, I think. So that's definitely helpful.
I think that's right. And I think that a lot of times people are well, I'm going to give it a shot for a few years. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to go do something else. And I'm always just quit now. Don't it's not
it's true though.
It's don't waste your few years. You're either a lifer or it's not going to work out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of my point of view, but I'm cynical about a lot of things.
No, and rightly so.
We welcome that here.
Rightly so. Oh, that's interesting though. Getting the book from seeing theatre. Have you done any rep theatre?
No, I wouldn't. I would though. I mean, I haven't done much theater. Period. Since I've been, since I moved to Los Angeles 28 years ago. I directed a show. I was in a couple of shows. I've done some live stuff, but I haven't done a proper play in forever. I mean, even though I studied theater, I went to an acting conservatory and I have a degree. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting and studied working on stage, and that's what I did until I started working on camera. And I'd love to do it again. I actually have been looking into trying to get on stage again because I miss it quite a bit.
Come over to New York.
Yeah, I know. That's the way to do it.
And freeze in the snow.
Okay, maybe in the spring.
Well,
it's great. I built a snowman the other day. I love it.
Where did you build a snowman? And you have
It was epic. It was
proper
serious.
Yes, I have a yard. I'm just outside New York and New Jersey, so I actually have grass. But I built a 5 foot. I'd say I'm 5'4". I'd say he's 5'3".
Okay.
He's still out there.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I had a blast. So it's not all bad, Hayley.
Oh no, I love a bit of snow. I'm just being a knob.
Oh, thank you.
We move on to a section, Sean, called 2 Slightly Surprising Facts off the internet, where we just do a bit of stalking, a little bit of light stalking of you. And my fact is, I found in a random interview that if you were a cartoon character, you'd be Woody Woodpecker.
Oh, yeah.
Please elaborate. There wasn't much detail with it.
Well, let me say a couple things about that. All right. First of all, a lot of times, I often get questions in interviews like that I'm like, could you just give me 5 minutes to think about it? You know, like in the moment, like it's like, if you could be a cartoon character, who would it be? But really, it's like, hey, you got like 5 to 10 seconds.
You're gonna hate this podcast then.
and so what I did was, instead of saying who I would be, I think I said who my favorite is.
Okay.
And I love Woody Woodpecker. I particularly love the old Woody Woodpecker, like the first ones from like the 30s and 40s when he first showed up, and he's just because he's just pure chaos. He just like people who are annoying rub him the wrong way. So he's like, you can never out annoy me. Like, I can be more annoying than you could ever be. So he goes to people who are annoying, and then he's even more annoying and puts them in their place. And they're just fun and funny and delightful. And maybe I was like that when I was younger. I don't think I would do that now. I don't know if I have the energy to be Woody Woodpecker.
I don't know. Woody Woodpecker gives me actor energy.
You know, I do love Woody Woodpecker, though. I think that's the takeaway. There's something about him. He's always kind of done it for me.
Haley, do you have an answer to that question for yourself?
Oh God, I don't know. Oh, I see.
You have 5 seconds to come up with an answer.
Right? Yeah.
It's so hard.
No, you don't have to.
Tom from Tom and Jerry.
Wait, is that the one that's beating like the homicidal maniac?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
For similar reasons.
What?
Like, be the homicidal maniac in the room.
I think that's harsh to call Tom a homicidal maniac.
He's just fulfilling his natural urges.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, we're recording this, so if there's ever a deposition, we have this on film.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, how were you going to back me up then, Sean?
Yeah, I actually love Tom and Jerry also.
I do.
Where did I see recently that they had a contract where Tom never, like, they're buddies, right? That's the thing about it. Every now and then Tom and Jerry are like friends with it. They're like, they bury the hatchet and they're like hang out with one another, which is also very nice.
And sometimes they have to bandy together against a greater evil.
Yeah.
You know what? I think what's happened to me is that Itchy and Scratchy has plagued my view of Tom and Jerry.
That'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can.
What about you, Emily? Who's your cartoon person? You're not getting out of this.
I know who I would aspire to be. I don't, but you would be a more accurate, like, of who I would be now. I would aspire to be like Winnie the Pooh. He's very. I read this book years ago called The Tao of Pooh, about how Pooh he just is presence, and he, and I would like to be more like that.
And he's led by kindness and values friendship above all else, and
I like that.
That's pretty good.
So, but I don't think that's accurate. I'm probably more like, I think I'm more like Tigger, or like, I don't know. Owl's kind of an ass. I feel like maybe
Eeyore. You just don't want to be like Eeyore, and then you're in trouble.
Eeyore was my favorite when I was a kid, because I think I didn't know how to deal with sadness and
depression.
My mascot. Anyway,
this went dark.
My fact is very random. You at the Superman premiere wore these glasses, these red glasses.
Oh yeah.
Where did you get those glasses? Because I need them.
I honestly just got them online, where I get all my glasses. On
Amazon.
On Zenny, which is just a website. You put in your you put in your prescription, and there's just like, they have tons of options.
All right.
My friend Nathan Fillion told me about that website. he said, because I had complimented on some glasses, and he's like, "Oh, I just go on to Zenni. There's
Zanny.
Maybe they'll be our sponsor.
Zenni with an Zenni, and yeah, I found those glasses which I thought were perfect for the Superman career. Which all my glasses that I wear, once I discovered transitional lenses that and also what's the other word for where they turn into sunglasses with the polarization. Once I discovered those, I'm like, why would I? That's all I need for all my glasses. Like, why would I ever have?
Well, let me ask you this, because I was considering getting transitional lenses.
No, this is important. This is good. This is important.
Come on, yeah.
But you know when like it's kind of foggy and you're inside and then your glasses are like in between, like have they gotten better at knowing whether you're inside or outside? Because I'd be having conversations with people like 10 years ago and they'd be like wouldn't have sunglasses indoors.
It's never bothered me, but I mean, I also maybe I just feel like an old gambler if I'm indoors and they get a little tint to them. It's like
I like the ones you stick over the glasses and then you flip. I'll just stick with those.
There you go. Those are good. But yeah, so those they were red, but then the sunglass part turned blue. Mm-hmm. So like I was like, this is perfect.
They were
color scheme wise for
That's
they're good.
Cool. At what point do we compare prescriptions?
Well, listen, go ahead. No.
Well, I was going to say, I had perfect vision like my whole life. I had awesome like 2015 or better vision. Wow. And then I hit like 45 and it just nosedived. And now I'm in my third year in a row of having to get a new prescription once a year because my eyesight's getting worse and worse. I don't know if it's just aging or if it's aging plus, staring at the device all day.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. I've been in glasses since I was 3 months old. Wow. Like I had the kind that like strapped to my face. I still have them. They're over there. But I've been, that's one thing when I think about if you had to go back in time, like I don't romanticize the past because imagine needing glasses, but they haven't been invented and everything's just a blob.
Oh.
I think that's what I did up until I was 13 because I didn't like wearing glasses, but I was so blind. So I was just banging into pylons and things on the way to school because I refused to wear these glasses.
That sounds like a you problem.
And then I got contact lenses. Yeah. Awful. Terrible.
Anyway.
So -9 I am.
What?
-9.
They must have a weird conversion in the UK because if you were -9, you would have like a cane and little round, like you
very blind.
There's no. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot to me.
Quite.
But I don't know. Like, I'm not here to question you. I'm not going to call you a liar to your face.
No, you're not.
If you say it, I'm going to believe it. But it does sound like a lot.
So, Sean, we can move on. Do you mind if I talk to you about Gilmore Girls?
I do not.
Okay, great. Because I know you. You never know. Like you never know.
No, I know. There are people on Gilmore Girls who are like, "Don't ask me about Gilmore Girls."
Right?
Yeah, there are people who don't want to. There are people who were my castmates that will. I'm really spilling the tea here. There are people who are my castmates who are like, I really, really don't ever want to talk about that show again.
That's fair, though.
I get it.
If it's all you like,
it is fair. It's fair. It's fair for several reasons, but I enjoy it, and I'm happy to talk about it as much. Because
I know you first as Kirk, but I know you most like as a superhero. So it's like you know, but so love Kirk. And this is gonna be one of those questions where you feel like you have 5 seconds to answer. So I apologize. You have all the time that you need. But there's that one episode where you're dressed as a woman. Was it like a reenact? There was a reenactor.
I don't remember actually the premise of that show, but I do remember having to dress like, and I remember saying, we're not supposed to be arguing, Taylor, we're supposed to be making love.
Yes.
Which is the clip that has survived from that show. I don't remember much else about that show, actually, about that particular episode. Anyway, what's your question about it?
My question is, well, if you don't remember much, then this bodes well for me, because I love Drag Race. And I'm just wondering if Kirk had a drag name, like, what do you think Kirk's drag name would be?
Oh, look what you've
Woody
done
Woodpecker.
Yeah, there you go. Right off the bat.
That's a great drag name, actually.
It is. It works on numerous levels.
Yeah.
We can come back.
I don't have a ready answer.
That's the beauty.
I do remember, being like, oh man, like I gotta dress up like, you know, I put on a hot dog suit to play Kirk. I did a lot of things, and
you were nude.
It was one that I didn't relish doing it, but then I also reminded myself, you can't half-ass it. Your job is to do it all the way, to make it funny, to do the thing, and like going for it. And I look and I go and I watch it now, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty funny. So it's like I'm glad that I didn't that I didn't phone that one in. I don't know what my drag name would be.
Just go with Woody Woodpecker. I think that's
I love
great.
Woody Woodpecker. I'm down. I'm down for that.
Bless you. I wanted to ask you about Petal the pig.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, are you like into pigs, or did Petal make you become into pigs?
No, I warned you guys earlier. I'm a bit of a curmudgeon, so you're gonna get like I want to be very joyful, but let me tell you, Petal is actually several pigs, right? So
that makes sense.
Because what they do, those pigs, they basically breed them so that they're hungry all the time.
Oh,
so
that's so sad.
They're only like docile enough to perform in a scene if they've just been fed. So basically, we end up like they had to have multiple pigs that they're feeding, and they have to like finish feeding one. And then we do a take. And then if we do another take, they got to switch out the pig and do another one that's just been fed. Otherwise, the pig will go nuts.
Oh
I know like, well, that's effing depressing.
This is what I want to know.
Yeah, they're beautiful animals. They're really sweet and they're kind, but they've been like, they were just like garden variety pigs for slaughter, and they just they were hungry all the time, otherwise they go nuts.
Oh my god.
Haley,
you'd have thought somebody would have fed back at some point that this was more trouble than what it was worth on set. Write the pig out.
Well, I think they don't know until it happens. They're like, Amy and Dan are like, this will be hilarious if Kirk has a pig. And then they get there, and then they finally like, well, this is what needs to happen for us to have a pig. And they're like, just make it so. And then they're like, oh boy.
We interviewed someone this week who Haley's an intimacy coordinator, and he asked if like something could be added to that role. And Haley, maybe like animal compassion.
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
Oh no, not with not with pigs that eat. I'm not feeding pigs all day.
No. Saying you represent the pigs.
Oh, okay.
You're not their wrangler. You're saying, hey, these pigs are distressed. This is not okay.
Yeah.
No, okay.
I mean, I don't want them involved in any intimate scenes. I've already done one with like a teacup pony.
Oh.
Yeah, and a horse in the same like 6 months. Different shows. So yeah, I don't need intimate scenes with pigs. But I know what you're saying.
A pig spokesperson.
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure that already exists. That's an animal wrangler, isn't it?
I think they just wrangle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't think they have to be particularly compassionate. Anyway.
I did one with a spider wrangler once. There was a spider wrangler.
Oh.
That was cool. Anyway, carry on.
How long have you been an intimacy coordinator?
Since 2019, when it started kind of kicking off.
Yeah. It's cool, you know. I've had one a few times now. I'm glad they exist. I actually think they're really necessary.
Yeah, I think we're here to stay now. Every now and then it feels touch and go because they don't have to have us.
Yeah, I think that they're older actors that they resist everything.
Yeah,
it almost doesn't matter what it is they resist.
Yeah,
but like I've had so many friends in the industry who did things that they felt like pressured into doing or weren't comfortable doing, but they did it anyway. And that happened so many times when particularly when I was younger, that I'm very glad that the industry has changed in that way. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely don't come up against resistance as much as I used to even a year ago. So yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Times are changing.
I have 2 more Kirk questions.
Yeah, go. I was just gonna say, let's get back to the Kirk questions.
Yeah.
But I do love when we have guests and they're always interested to talk to Haley, and I think that's great. Yeah, because it's a cool gig. Anyway, my first question.
I'm glad you've worked with some as well, Sean. That's reassuring.
Oh yeah, for sure. On a couple things. The first time I had an industry coordinator was when I was getting tortured by Chris Pratt, my friend Chris, who I'd worked with many times on Guardians of the Galaxy. But then I did his show, The Terminalist, the first season of it, and there's a scene where my character was naked and tortured, and so I'm fully naked for the whole scene, so we needed an intimacy coordinator for that, and it was great to have one, even though for the most part we were kind of like, we know each other, we're comfortable, and let her rip. But it's still good to have them, you know.
Yeah. I was just like racking my brain thinking when in Guardians of the Galaxy Chris was torturing you, and I was like, I guess I don't remember them as well as I.
You must have blacked out for that bit.
Yeah. So and speaking of Kirk was naked quite a few times, and I'm sure there was nobody.
I know. No intimacy coordinator for any of those.
No.
Made me take those off.
I was gonna ask what line you get quoted the most.
My girlfriend is the whore is a big one. Babette ate oatmeal. I wish I had like a single iconic line, you know.
I think his presence is the iconic bit. Like my favorite bit is when you're in the kitchen working with Suki, and then Lorelai's like, "What are you doing here? You don't work here." And you're just like, how else am I supposed to learn how to be a chef? Like, and then you just ignore them and you keep going with like what you're cooking and what you need. And like, I think it's just anytime he showed up, I was delighted.
Well, I appreciate that.
Which leads me into my last Kirk question, which is there anything you've mentioned several times being cynical, which we very much welcome here. In fact, that's kind of the point. But but is there any bit of Kirk's optimism that you feel like rubbed off on you, or nothing?
Only that I try to remember it now as I'm older. You know, I've kind of like, I've talked about this before and written about it, but I think that when I played Kirk, I was really resistant. I was really I enjoyed doing it, but I was also very much about what's the next job in my career. You know, like okay, I'm doing the show, but then what's the show after this? And it wasn't until I got a little older that I started to really appreciate how great it was to be on a show with great writing and play this wonderful character. And so I try to remember that and still celebrate it. And, I'd look to do it again. I would, if, it wouldn't have to be that character, but I would love to have a job like that again.
Yeah.
And I do think that, there are times when I think about how because the whole thing about Kirk is basically like a 10-year-old in a grown man's body, right? So he would get very enthusiastic about frivolous things quite a bit. And I try to remember that sometimes.
Yeah. It's a good way to be.
Yeah.
Sure. I was I mentioned on set that you were coming on, and somebody likened Gilmore Girls to Friends in that it's their comfort viewing, and they just kind of always have it on, just streaming all the time.
It's insane how much the show is still popular. How it like is, it's like it's still a hit. It wasn't even really a hit show when it was on. It was like a modest hit. It did fine. It did well enough to get renewed every year. And it was on the WB, but it wasn't until it came to Netflix later and really exploded. And now it's like it's always on people's consciousness. I meet, regularly. I meet 7, 8, 9-year-old children who it's their favorite show and who watch it all the time. And it's mind blowing. There are people who watch it, as you say, there are people who watch it every fall. It's like their thing they do. And once it turns fall, they watch it for whatever reason, or people who, I've known painters and artists who put it on a loop while they work.
Yeah.
And it's a very strange thing. I would really not have predicted it. I think that some things, like when we were shooting Guardians, I knew it was really good.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know that it was going to maybe be quite as successful as it was, but I knew that it was going to be as good as it was. And I knew that at the very least it would have like this, it would find its niche. It would have at the very least a cult following, like people who loved it, because I knew it was really good. I did not quite feel that way with Gilmore Girls. I thought it was I knew that the writing was awesome and that the show itself was unique, but I didn't think it would stick. I thought it was kind of too weird for audiences. It's got the style of the show is the old time. This is how I got cast on the show. But it's got this old time like film comedy stuff, like the Howard Hawks, Preston Sturges movies of the 30s and 40s, like Bringing Up Baby and 20th Century and His Girl Friday, and it's got that kind of rhythm and pace to the show. And I did not think that was going to really stick with a modern audience. And I'm talking about a modern 25 years ago. Yeah. Much less modern now, but for some reason, like people love it. And I don't know if people haven't tried to imitate it too much, or if it's just too hard to imitate, because there's not other shows like it really, maybe one or two, but it's pretty unique.
Yeah. I don't even know where you'd start trying to imitate it.
Yeah.
No. Speaking of Guardians, and knowing it was going to be great, there's a lot in it that's like with the whistling and the arrow, and that when you're reading that or when you're doing it, are you able to picture it in a way, or are you going like, is this going to look? Because in the end, when you take over, I'm sobbing. And if you had explained to me what I was going to be sobbing about, I would be like, are you okay? Like, what are you talking about? But it somehow plays like it makes total sense. Like when you're shooting something like that, are you able to, are you just going, I believe that this is going to look good, like I trust the people who are making it, or did you have a picture of it in your head?
I think there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief where you have to put your trust in the visual effects team and stuff like that. But also, I think one of the reasons that my brother James is so good at his job is that he's really good at being totally prepared and also communicating to the performers what it is that we're going to be doing. So it's like before we shoot scenes, we might see storyboards, or often we'll see like actual animatics, actual like three-dimensional animatics that have been created, where we start the scene by saying, okay, here's what this scene is going to look like, more or less. Like it may, a shot may change here or there, but we know that ultimately this is the way a scene is gonna fit together. So then when we are shooting it, I generally know for each shot what the visual effects team is going to be doing and where, and then I'm able to just kind of imagine within that, and it's fun. And we have a lot of practical sets too. A lot of times, we have a lot of like the sets are built and things like that. The green screen is a lot of times just for the distance.
Yeah.
And and for things like the arrow, it's there for a second and then we drop it and then imagine that it continues. But I know where it's going and where it's landing and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love that movie.
I love that movie.
I must be the only idiot in the world who didn't realize that you did the motion capture for Rocket as well. Like,
you didn't know that?
I didn't know. I genuinely didn't know until I started researching.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant up until like this very moment.
Obviously not this moment.
Okay.
I'm not that bad. But I had no idea. What was that like?
I did. It was an interesting experience. It was when we were going to shoot the first movie. My brother knew that I think one of the things he was most worried about was that Rocket look real and be a real character, and not just be something ridiculous that looked like drummed up by the VFX team and just looked fully CGI. It's like, this has to be a real character, even though he's a talking raccoon. And how do we do that? And so I know that he wanted an actor that he had worked with and trusted to essentially play Rocket on set. And initially I was maybe just going to do the lines from off camera, but at least read them. They were still in the process of casting whose voice they were going to use ultimately to play the character. And but in the meantime, shoot the movie and make it work. And and when we did the table read, and then we did our first rehearsal of a scene, and I just kind of jumped in there and got down on my hands and knees with the script, because I was like, the other actors want to look at a set of eyes when they're looking at a character. They don't want to look at a tennis ball or a blank spot. In my theater school days, I had learned how to mimic animals and stuff and to do that kind of thing. And so I just kind of was like, I just did it. I just got down and started doing it. And it looked ridiculous for about 5 minutes. And then everybody got used to it. And it worked. And so for me being down there so that they could talk to me, they all of a sudden had this visual image of Rocket and of what Rocket is. And then when we started shooting, we found that the VFX team really liked it as well. They're like, it's really helpful to have Sean in there, because then when we start to animate, we know we have a jumping off point for where Rocket's eyes are looking, what his hands are doing, when he might be looking in a different direction other than where he's talking, like all of the little nuances of what the character might be doing. And that's just ended up being the method that worked. So that then when they had the first couple of rough cuts of the film, they would have a rough idea of how the character was animated. And then they would also have, the other actors would be reacting in a realistic way, so that ultimately later, when Bradley Cooper was hired and came in and he does the voice and really brings the character together, he's kind of got this shell of the character of what he's looking like and where and how his scene partners are responding and all that kind of stuff, and it really works. So we that's what we did for the first couple movies, and then they asked me to do it for the Avengers movies, and I ended up doing it for 6 films, and it was again, it was a unique process. There's no other character that's exactly like that. I've done more traditional mocap, like for Weasel and stuff like that. Yeah. Rocket was not traditional mocap; it was different.
Weasel,
but it just ended up being for that character. That's how it worked.
I just had like an emotional reaction to Weasel because I just love it. I feel so sorry for him. So did you? I'm guessing you had knee pads on, or like
for Rocket?
Yeah,
I did, but they were more. They weren't. I wasn't actually on my knee. I was more like squatting like a catcher in a baseball game.
Because you're quite tall, right?
I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah. So and Rocket is how tall?
Yeah, he's little. I know exactly how tall he is because but basically, yeah, when I get down to a full squat, my eyes are essentially in the right spot. And it was a little hard on it was more hard on my feet and my shins, my ankles, than it was on my knees. Which is why I am definitely retired from doing it. I'm once I turned 50, I'm like, I can't do it anymore. But because I think I took a little wear and tear on my feet. But
your squat game must have been so strong.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty limber. At least I was back in 2013 when we started.
Because the third movie is majority Rocket, right?
Yeah. Well, the third movie, once we go back into Rocket's history, where he's with the other smaller animals, we were able to do actual traditional mocap for that and have him standing up a little bit more. And then for a lot of the rest of that movie, he's actually incapacitated, laying on a like operating table. So the third movie is actually the easiest to do from a physical perspective.
Have you ridden the Disneyland ride?
Yeah, the one,
the old Tower of Terror.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I've ridden that one many times.
Yeah.
It's a blast. And then also there's the other one at Disney World. The
that
whirly
made me so sick.
Yeah.
I have never gotten so ill on a ride.
I did it twice in a row.
Oh.
I know. And it was before I was like doing some promotional stuff. And so I like came down and went on the ride and rode it. And then they're like, we'll do it again. We were going to do it again with our friends and ended up doing a second time. And then they're like, you can keep riding. Do you want to keep going? And I was like, no. Twice in a row was a lot. And then we had to like take a break for like, I need to sit down for like an hour after.
It's Haley.
I don't mean to not push it. It's a great ride.
Your roller coaster car is spinning as you're moving. So like you're just you can't find like a center of. I was
people
so excited.
Love it. People love it. I'm not talking bad about it. I'm not really.
No, I was so excited because the music and it looks great, and then my stomach, I couldn't. But I know people like will go and go and go, and I wish I was one of them. But anyway.
Oh, and you're like the spokesperson for everything Disney, Emily.
Yeah, I can't. If I'm continually moving in a circle, I can't do it. I gotta go. Anyway,
that's fair. I was going to ask about you working with your brother, Sean, because I think like creating a sense of community in your industry is really important, and that mentorship. Do you kind of look towards to each other for mentorship and things like that, or, like for a second opinion?
Definitely. I mean, I will definitely ask his advice on particularly on career things or stuff like that. He runs things past me too. We've worked together in some capacity or another since we were kids, and then it just kind of worked out as we got a little older. And there's 6 of us, in my family, and we're all really close. It just so happened that James and I have jobs that sort of mesh the best.
You were both loving that rep theater as kids.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so now it's like we work together when we can, and I haven't done everything that he's made, but I've done most of it, and we talk about what role might be right or what isn't right, and try to make sure we're on the same page about what we're doing. But he's the easiest person for me to work with because we understand each other really well, and creatively we have like a baseline communication that's easy to navigate.
Yeah. I can see how it would be, like how some siblings might find that difficult though.
Oh, it's one or the other.
Yeah,
I get that all the time. People say like, how do you like working with your brother? Because I would strangle my brother if I ever had to work with him. I think it's probably good that he's the older brother and I'm the younger brother, and he's the director, creator, producer, and I'm just the grunt performer. I think if
the power dynamics. I think
if I was his boss, it would probably be a lot more difficult.
Oh, I love that. Emily, do you want to take it onto the story?
Yes.
Or have you got anything left in this
section? The only thing I was going to say is I learned that you voice GI Robot, right?
Yeah.
And this will tell you where my head is. When I heard GI Robot, I thought gastrointestinal robot. And I was like, oh, how cool. Like,
gross.
Like maybe he does colonoscopies. I don't know. That's just where that was front of mind. And then I was like, I looked at it and I was like, that is not correct. But
that's not what she's not. There's no.
I would love a GI Robot.
Your knowledge of the DC universe.
Well, the things I know about,
if he doesn't hate Nazis, he hates IBS. Oh boy.
Yeah, GI Robot.
Major problems with celiac disease.
I would love that. When it came to GI Robot, I just projected.
No, GI Robot hates Nazis.
Well, arguably
for him.
Yes.
He's the hero we need in these trying times.
Yes. I will develop my own GI Robot, and then both can exist.
Yeah, no, not gastrointestinal. That's funny. That is the first time I've heard that. So that's good.
I love that.
Yeah. It's just, anyway. That's
the most you thing you've ever said.
That's what?
Great.
That's the most Emily thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, Sean, I have a lot of GI issues, so that's where that's coming from. I was like, oh the superhero I've been waiting for, and then I'll just be my own. For everyone. I'll just be my own GI Robot.
I wish that for you. I hope you find your version of a GI Robot.
Thank you. I will. Yeah. I'll figure it out. So yes, I will I'm going to take you into a section we have called the story. And this is where we ask you if there's any times you can remember. Usually it's early in your career, but it could be yesterday, where you kind of are doing something and you look around and you go, I can't believe this is what I have to do in order to, be an actor. I can give you examples if you'd like, or if something pops into your head, that's great too.
Is it being on this podcast?
That's not been anyone's story yet.
No. No, I mean, I playing Kirk for 7 years.
Sure, yeah.
My cup runneth over with moments like that. Like just ridiculous dancing and wearing a hot dog suit and learning to walk on stilts and just on and on. I'm either the worst or the easiest actor to answer this question because I'm like, I've made a career out of the fact that I'm like shameless, right? And so I don't so like I lick the glass when I'm Weasel. I I played this character Alien Orphan in the movie The Specials many years ago, who's just ridiculous. Another dance sequence in that movie. I'm not a dancer, but people want me to dance ridiculously on camera. Do it.
Heck yes, you are.
I sort of look at my career as like I'm a it's my job to do what the script tells me to do or what the creator tells me to do, and so I'll do it even though a lot of times that's things that other actors are like, I wouldn't do that, but I'm like, oh well, I was hired to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to think if there's any like really other crazy ones from. I mean, Kirk, there's so many Kirk things that are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Kirk
in and of himself is the story.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Was there anything that you were asked to do as Kirk where it really pushed you to the edge and you were like, oh, I don't know if I can do that?
Well, only physically, like only things like, you gotta, like learning to walk on stilts. It was like they were, it's like, okay, well they had brought somebody in for me to teach me how to walk on stilts for like 2 hours before we had to shoot.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, okay, well, you got 3.5 foot stilts and 5 foot stilts. The 5 are much more difficult. So I was like, well, I'm sure they want the 3.5 then because it's safer and whatever. And then they like call the producers. It's like, nope, we're doing the 5 foot. And
my God.
So there were times when I'm like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can physically do this. But I did it. It went great. I learned how to do it, and then I learned to walk on stilts. I don't. Yeah.
That's super impressive that you did all that in one day.
And you're 6 feet tall already.
That's mad.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They asked me to. I guess I very, very submissive. I guess.
As long as it's within your boundaries, Sean.
I know.
Oh,
I could have used you, I think. I could have used you as a go-between.
Yeah, are you sure you want to go on the 5 foot stilts? What would you say your definition of making it is? Like, how would you define it if you had to?
Working as much as you want to work.
Oh, that's the dream.
And I have not made it. So, I mean,
2026 is coming up.
Woo-hoo!
Look, I'm like, I'm very grateful. Look, when I first started, I'd been told so many times by my parents and other people that what the stats are for actors and what a low percentage of people who actually pay their rent pay their bills, pay their rent, by working as actors. Just what a long shot that was. And so I kind of told myself, if I can just do that, I'm gonna tell myself to be grateful and happy, and like that is what I want. That's my goal, is to just make my living doing this thing, so that this is my profession. It's not, like aside from everything else, this is what I do for a living. And I've been doing that for like 28 years. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really proud of it. And so I'm like, I always lean back on, that's what I'm like. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
That said, I wish I got more offers, or had a little more flexibility, or worked more. I wish I could do, the number of conventions that I want to do, rather than every single one of them. And, it's always, you always find your level of discontent. And I think I would like a little more flexibility than I have, but that's just because I'm being greedy. When I'm grateful, I'm pretty grateful.
I don't know if it's greed though. I think you're not a puppet, are you? And it would be nice to be able to have that choice.
Yeah.
Keeping all that in mind, then this is the part of the podcast where we rapid fire things at you that you have to think of on the spot, which we opened by saying is not your favorite thing.
Okay,
yeah. So I apologize. But this is the last one. So
I don't mind doing it. Let's do it.
If you had to give a title to your career journey so far, so if it was a chapter in a book and you were giving it a title, what would that title be? And again, I can give you examples if what other people have said.
It's something about doing what it takes. Like, I think of myself as an actor. I think of myself as I used this word grunt before, and I don't ever want to be disrespectful to war language, but it is like, I feel like I'm an acting soldier. Like I go where the work is, and I try to do the job that needs to be done. And that's how I think of myself. So, something in there.
GI gun.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not gastro.
Not gastrointestinal.
Not yet. I got to write the movie first.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I don't know if I want to see that movie.
What else you got?
Well, I did want to ask you, so this is a brainstorming question. As an actor, I would love your input, because you do press junkets, and I'm sure you get asked similar questions about whatever the project is over and over. And I always feel Haley and I our goal is to come up with creative ways to ask our guests about things, so that the eyes don't glass over because they've just had to answer the same questions over and over. Like, I talked to Simu Liu last night, and I felt bad because I know he has, he's at an event, yesterday, and I just was like, Den of Geek, like we talked, and then I like got out of his way. But I'm, as an actor, what kinds of questions would you get excited about being asked, so that we can keep upping our game and not have to put people on like autopilot?
I like this question, and I'm going to start by saying what I don't like.
Great.
Which is that, like, I hate question, and you guys have done great, because I don't think you've done this at all. But I hate questions that start with, "What's it like?" or "What's your favorite?"
Okay,
because
I did one of those.
What's it like? Well, that's okay. It's not so bad. What's it like is really hard. If it's like, what's it like working on a big movie like blah blah blah? It's like,
yeah,
it's just such a non-specific question. Like, what do you mean, what's it like? I don't know. I don't know what that means. What's it? And I mean, and I don't mean to be a smartass, but it's like, I always think, what's it like not doing it? and people are. It sounds ridiculous, but it shows you how hard it is to answer the question. Like there's no like real answer to what's it like. The other thing is, what's your favorite? For the most part, it's like, what's your favorite? You know, I guess you could do a favorite project or favorite role, but like, most of the time, what's your favorite? Just puts my work in competition with itself, which is not how I think of my work. I don't think of it. I don't have like a list of favorite to least favorite things that I've done. Each one has a different sort of feeling to me. So what's your favorite is always really hard to answer, even though I understand it sometimes. I don't know, anything that asks me to think deeper. Like if you take a specific role, like Rocket or like G.I. Robot, and say, you know, what was your thought process when you started to tackle this role? You know, what were you thinking about when you first read the script and started to take your approach on how to play the character? That I can go into a lot more detail on things like that. You know, yeah, I think that questions that elicit detail are that's the key.
Yeah,
that's really helpful
for sure. Though, if in that interview they hadn't have asked who your favourite cartoon character was, we would never have known that it was Woody Woodpecker.
And we wouldn't have gotten a Kirk's drag name.
That's important information.
Wait, though, hold on. They didn't ask me my favorite. They said, what cartoon character would I be?
Oh, yeah, that's not the same.
And then I said, which is actually harder. My favorite cartoon character, actually, that was easier because I think it is Woody Woodpecker. Although cartoon character, that's such a wide net.
I know.
That's like every animated creature, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, because it's just so interesting to me because I'll do these, you know, I did a press junket last week and it was 2 people per interview, 5 minutes per interview. And so it was just like, and then I'll ask a question and they'll go, oh, I love that question. And I'm going, what are other people asking you? I don't even think I'm being like that much of a wizard, but people always seem really grateful. And so I'm always curious, like, what are the ones where you're kind of just having to like, you hear yourself saying the same phrases over and over all day that make you disengage. So that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will take those notes.
Thanks, Sean.